Hi guys, it's Charla from That Girl Cooks Healthy. So today I'm gonna show you how to curry these soya chunks, also known as veggie chunks, with some cauliflower rice. This is a South Asian and Caribbean fusion dish. Okay, so let's kickstart this recipe. First of all, I'm going to show you how I make my cauliflower rice. So I'm just adding some olive oil to my frying pan, and I'm going to heat that through to about a medium heat. And once it's heated up, I'm going to add my cauliflower. Now the cauliflower has already been food processed, or you can grate it if you want. So once I've added the cauliflower, I'm just going to continue to stir it for several minutes until the cauliflower is nice and soft and cooked through. Once I've done that, I'm going to add my herbs and spices to give it some taste, because cauliflower doesn't have any taste and we want our rice to have some flavor. So what I'm going to do is add some thyme, parsley, some onion and garlic granules. You don't need to use granules. You can use powdered form if you want. And I'm also adding pink salt. I forgot to say pink salt as well for some more flavor. So once I add those ingredients, I'm just going to continue to cook the cauliflower some more until technically it's called cauliflower rice, but it's really just cauliflower that's just been pureed, or not pureed, sorry. It's just grated to a fine consistency, or broken down to a fine consistency, so it resembles something similar to rice. So it's technically not rice, but we're just going to roll with it and call it cauliflower rice. And it's a really great low carb alternative to rice. So if you're on a weight loss journey, or you just want to be watching your carbs, then this is the recipe that you need to pair this curry with. So after several minutes, the cauliflower rice is pretty much soft through and ready to be taken off the stove. So I'm going to remove it from the stove, and then we're going to work on making our curry using the veggie chunks. So the first thing we need to do is to rehydrate our veggie chunks, also known as soya or soy chunks, depending on what country you're in. So I have my soya chunks in a bowl, and the next thing that I'm going to do now is to hydrate it with some water. So I'm going to pour some warm water on the veggie chunks, and then once I do that, I'm just going to leave it for about usually about 20 minutes. 15-20 minutes is a sweet spot to leave it. You're also going to notice during this time that the chunks are going to expand, so they're going to get bigger, and they're also going to take on more of a different type of color, so a slightly off color from what you're seeing now. And it's also going to be like a sponge when you touch it, so it's going to feel like a sponge. And you really want to make sure that you leave them to soak, and actually don't leave out this step at all, because it's going to help to absorb the flavor of the curry. So it's going to make it taste a lot better, because the veggie chunks don't have any flavor whatsoever. And as you can see now, I'm just touching it with my hand because I've left it for 20 minutes and it's pretty much good to go. So I'm just going to drain that water off and use it once I am ready to use it. So now I'm going to heat some olive oil in a frying pan again, and then what I'm going to do now is add my base ingredients. I call them my base ingredients because they're usually like those foundation ingredients that you use for most recipes, especially when you're making a curry. So I'm adding my onion, garlic and ginger, and this tends to be the base for at least most of my curry recipes. So I'm just going to saute that now, and I'm going to saute this until they become soft and translucent. It's going to take a few minutes to get to that point, so just going to keep stirring until we get to the soft and translucent point. So now I'm just going to add my curry powder. I'm using my Jamaican curry powder that I like to use in a lot of my recipes. So even though this isn't technically an exclusive Caribbean recipe, I do like to fall back on my homemade curry powder for most of my recipes, because as I said at the beginning, this is a fusion dish, so you're going to find that there's going to be some herbs and spices that what you won't typically find in a Caribbean dish. So I have to put that disclaimer out there, because I know I'm going to get some comments about this isn't how Jamaicans or other Caribbean islands make it. This is just what I like to do. So anyway, so I've already added the curry, and the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the rest of the herbs and spices. So I'm going to add some cumin, some ground coriander, some garam masala, some pink salt, black pepper, and I'm just going to add those now, and also some shadow benny as well, and thyme. Some thyme is coming up as well. Yep, there's the thyme, just goes in there right now. And I'm also going to add scotch bonnet, because I love to add scotch bonnet to most of my recipes. You can add chili powder if you want instead, but I like to add scotch bonnet because I'm really biased. So anyway, I'm just going to stir that for a few minutes. So now it's time to add my liquids. So I'm going to add some homemade vegetable broth, followed by some full fat coconut milk, and then I'm going to add a can of chopped tomatoes. It's going to seem like quite a lot at the time, but as you simmer it down, you're going to realize it's going to thicken up, and it's going to be the right ratio of everything that you need. So add those ingredients, your liquid ingredients, and then just give it a stir. So now that we've added most of the ingredients, now we're just going to add the vegetable chunks. So I'm just going to add the vegetable chunks. If you look at them, you're gonna see straight away that they almost look like little tiny sponges, small mini sponges, and that is really important, as I said before, to get to that stage. You don't want to add them dry, because they're going to be slightly chewy. Even when we leave them to simmer, there's going to have a chewiness to them. So I've already tested this. This is the reason why I know that you need to rehydrate them before you do anything with them. So really make sure, I cannot emphasize to rehydrate them. So at first, when you add them, they're going to float at the top, and they're going to seem like they're going to float at the top, and then they're going to absorb most of the sauce from the curry, and they're really going to start to meld and incorporate into the curry. So don't worry if it does seem like it seems a little bit overcrowded at the moment. It's fine, as long as you're using a large saucepan, then it should be fine. So just stir them in as best as you can, and then we're just going to put the lid on the saucepan, and we're going to leave it to simmer. So after about 10 minutes of simmering, we're going to add our bell peppers. Now I have a confession to make. I was supposed to add the bell peppers before, but I forgot, so I'm just gonna add them now. So you can add them when you're sauteing the base ingredients, or you can do what I'm doing now and just add them now. It doesn't really make a difference because they're still going to be nice and tender and give the curry some color as well. So we're gonna do that and then just tuck them in, or push them in as best as we can, and then we're gonna put the lid back on and allow the curry to continue to simmer down until it starts to thicken up. So the curry's been simmering away for quite some time now, and it's pretty much done. So I'm going to take the lid off again one more time, and now what I'm going to do now is to add some raw cane sugar. You're probably wondering why you're adding sugar. Well, I don't know if you've ever heard of, you can balance out flavors by adding like sweetness. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to add that raw cane sugar. It's not a lot, it's a small amount, and that's going to help to balance out the spices. So I personally think that it's a game changer when you do that, especially for this type of curry, because it's going to balance the flavors out. So if there's any type of bitterness or anything like that, that sugar is immediately going to just balance it out. So it helps to balance it out. So I do recommend doing that. And as you can see, the veggie chunks now are pretty much incorporated with the sauce. They're not flowing at the top anymore. The sauce is nice and thick, and this is pretty much what you need to do. So you just need to remove the thyme stems, remove the Scotch bonnet pepper if you used it before you're serving, and then now you can just serve this with your vegetable rice and enjoy it really. So guys, that's how you make a curry, a vegan curry, using some veggie chunks. I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Most importantly, make this dish, share this dish, do whatever you need to. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the other side.